Hello and welcome to the Underpaid Gamers Podcast. My name is Justin. I'm here with my friend and colleague Tony.
Hello.
Today we're talking to you about many of the happenings.
This is our third try doing this.
This is our third try that is going on in the gaming and nerd world. So pay attention.
Video games.
Let's go.
Movies. Other things.
Star Wars. Stop. Not today.
Underpaid Gamers, it's official podcast of underpaidgamers.com.
That's true.
We are on YouTube, Twitter at UPGamersPodcast, Google Play Music,
which we learned today.
we just found out, SoundCloud, iTunes,
Yep.
and
Stitcher.
most recently of all, Instagram.
Dun dun dun. Check it out, guys.
That's where you can find all your pictures. I'm taking a picture right now.
He's taking it.
Look at how cool this is. Oh my gosh. You're
we're
all part of
referencing
this.
it. Follow us on Instagram. Do it now. Go.
You're all virtually part of this world now.
Yep.
We're just Underpaid Gamers.
Yeah, underpaidgamerspodcast@gmail.com. We just said that. I think that's it.
I tried to make it as easy as possible. I also thought about making an Instagram like 3 months ago, and then today when I was making it, I'm like, I really hope nobody took our name on accident.
That would have been real bad.
Turns out they didn't.
Good job. Thanks, world.
Then we would have been like,
Dang it. The For Real or something. Underpaid Gamers.
the real Underpaid Gamers. Arr.
The OG.
The OG.
So,
Didn't happen. We're still good.
yeah, we are
Good in the hood.
clear. We are in the clear.
So,
Yeah.
what are we talking about today?
Well,
Hit me with the news.
we got some
Give it to me.
some fun stuff. First
Give it
off,
to me, baby.
on the news that I want to talk about today. Overwatch. Balancing things. If you guys don't know, I've been playing Overwatch a little bit more since my foray into Final Fantasy 15 is
Why
over.
would they know?
Because I tweeted to myself from our podcast
Saw
Twitter, and all our listeners just love to read all our tweets.
True that.
There's an update. Roadhog, he's ridiculous.
Well,
his little
on.
hook.
Hold
Okay,
on.
it hasn't dropped yet. Okay.
it's on the PTR.
Yes.
Which is the playtest server for PC, to see if they want to make the update permanent for PC and then consoles.
Sure.
So we're still a couple steps away.
Sure. But this is what they're changing.
The sky isn't falling yet.
If they choose to, this is what they're playing with.
Tell me what they're doing.
So Roadhog, his hook.
Yes.
If you've played the game, you know that hook can get you from some pretty interesting positions. Let's say you're around the corner a little bit. Maybe your Roadhog can't even see you. Still grabs you. Maybe you're really far away. Line of sight broken between you and Roadhog. Still grabs you.
What?
Roadhog's hook. Right now, how it's set up is that it checks for line of sight from the hook itself.
From the hook itself. The
which
hook
is what
like
grabs you.
An orb.
Yeah.
Of a hitbox.
Yeah. And even if Roadhog doesn't see you, if the hook sees you and you're within that box, you're gone.
The hook has eyes.
It's got you. It's got like a little gravity well. The change here is that from now on it would check from Roadhog's point of view, and if you're not in line of sight, it can't grab you.
Correct, Amundo.
So it nerfs it a little bit, which I think is good because I always get so frustrated when I play a really good Roadhog because I get hooked from anywhere, and it's frustrating. So I'm happy about that nerf. What I'm not happy about, however, is D.Va's nerf.
Now,
to be played with.
I necessarily... Let's discuss this. Tell the listeners what the nerf is, and then I'll tell you why I think it's a good thing.
Okay. So, I guess we have different opinions. Here we go. Here's some things that change. D.Va's health has changed from 200 health, 400 armor, to 400 health, 200 armor, making D.Va slightly squishier, with the armor being the defense boosting thing. Like you don't do as much damage with some characters when you're attacking armor.
Interesting.
Next, decreasing bullet damage. Each bullet, if you know, sprays 8 bullets to be exact. They've changed that to decreasing bullet damage per one from like the value of 3 to 2, I think is what I read.
Yep.
And then they're increasing number of bullets shot from 8 to 12. The idea being that you would be able to do more consistent damage with more shots, but do less damage overall, slightly less is kind of what the overall, from what I read, the analysis was that. Was that to do slightly less damage, but it's more consistent, and then you're a little bit spongier. So, reasons why I don't like this change. D.Va is a viable character right now. People can play it. The only other tank that does any tanky things is Roadhog. Not Roadhog, that's wrong. is Reinhardt, because he's got the giant shield. He's like the classic Type A, huge tank. Absorbs all the stuff. D.Va has the ability to suck up some damage. A little bit of tankiness there. He can block damage. Also, can get in the front, take quite a bit of punishment, and still be alive because you jump out your suit. So, I like D.Va for that reason. Also, you can get kills to D.Va. That's one of the things. It's like a trade-off between Reinhardt and not having a tank at all, where you can do a little bit of tanky stuff, but you can also still get kills. Reinhardt, as my brother who just started playing the game has realized, you kind of just sit there with the shield open, and you can get kills, you can do stuff, but it's kind of like a slower paced game. D.Va is a little bit more of an active tank, I would say. So
this is coming from your perspective as a casual player who plays once or twice a week.
Sure. Yeah.
Because
I don't claim to be an expert.
I'm not saying that you're an expert.
I know you're.
I'm not trying. I'm not trying to call you out.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is that in the current meta at the high level, it is a 4 tank meta. 4 of the 6 characters are tanks. D.Va, people pick Roadhog as DPS because he can get the quick pick and give you the early hit, give you an early advantage.
Sure.
People pick D.Va for her potential. She is mobile. Reinhardt is obviously a must pick for most games as he is very important. And the other one would probably be Zarya. I can't think of the other one right now. There's another tank. Who is it?
The ape?
Oh, Winston. Oh, sometimes people pick Winston too. However, in the current meta, it is mostly tanks. So they're trying to get away from that. Overall, the people at Blizzard are trying
high level of play?
they're trying to balance it. Why I don't think this is necessarily bad for D.Va with the armor and health switch. And I looked into the stats. So armor, I'm doing this from memory, so I might be wrong. If there's incoming damage, so like let's say soldier, let's say for the sake of it, soldier's one single bullet does 13 damage. For armor, if the damage is above 10, I don't think it halves it, but it does less. It does 5 points of damage less. So if it was doing 13, I think it would do 8.
Okay.
If someone, so like Tracer, if one bullet of hers was like 8, if it hits armor, it does half of that. So it does 4.
Okay.
So armor actually acts as armor, not just as increased health, but actually reduces some incoming damage.
Sure.
But it doesn't regenerate. So D.Va's health is just 1-for-1 damage per damage, whatever. But it does regenerate. No, it doesn't. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyway.
D.Va's health doesn't
Scratch all that.
But it can be healed.
Yes, but so can armor, I believe. I think armor gets healed from healers too. So never mind all that. I was thinking shields.
Yeah.
Forget everything I said, except for the fact that it's a current 4 tank meta right now. It'll be hard.
That's what they're
trying to get away from.
Okay. Well, I get what they're trying to do, but as an individual character and from the casual perspective, I like D.Va. And
I don't know if it's. D.Va. I feel like the bullet damage is good for her, increasing her. So? I mean, it technically decreases damage, but it's more consistent. I also think D.Va's not so much of a thorn in my side right now when I play, but she has been in the past. I think this will be a little bit more easy going.
Yeah.
I played D.Va last time we played. I had fun, I guess, but it's not as fun as just going around DPSing people, as I like to do.
Sure. I know. I've been really into a D.Va kick right now.
I noticed.
And I don't want it to be. I don't want it to change.
I don't want it to end.
I don't want it to at all. It's okay. I'd rather them like half the distance increase they did with Symmetra.
That would be a nerf from her original.
What was her original?
Like 6 meters. Now it's 9 meters.
Right. So I'm saying like do
4.5 meters.
No.
Or
I'm saying from the increase they did, cut it in half. From the increase.
Okay.
From the amount they added. So instead
they added 3
6
meters.
to 9, I'm saying like make
it take 1.5.
Yeah. Because like it made her more viable, but I'm like, it's so annoying. Every Symmetra I face like always kills me, and I can't get away from her stupid ray of death. And I want it to be like it's like too powerful right now. I don't know. I feel like it's too much, but
I see a lot of things when we're playing with all the people we play with.
Yeah.
So when we had the most, we had a team of 5. And it was very fun to see all these people get into fights and then complain. I think a lot of it just has to come with game knowledge about when to use abilities and when not to use abilities, and when to keep distance and when not to keep distance. and when to use the correct characters. Mm-hmm. We normally have a tank heavy guy. He almost always plays a tank.
Sure.
And the red herring.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were playing in a group, he would not play as a tank. He wanted to play other people,
which is true.
Which is fine,
right.
Obviously. But then when we start losing, because your brother is very new to the game, so he's been doing a lot of the healing, which is nice. Good old support player there.
And playing a lot of Lucio.
But I find it best for myself when I can count on one person specifically to do something specific. So the red herring, I always count on him to do something tanky and kind of distract them, and then I count on myself to do DPS, and then I count on you to be a distraction one way or another.
Thanks, man. Don't know if that's an insult or not.
It's not.
Okay.
But I do feel like I'm trying to make calls while we're playing.
Yeah, no, I think you definitely were like squad leader.
Ooh, Rogue One.
Trying to be like, hey guys, go! Go in here. We need to do this right now. Go, 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 go. Like you do that a lot. That's fun.
That's what I'm trying to do. But sometimes it's hard. I watch a lot of videos on Overwatch because I find it entertaining.
Sure.
And I watch streams on Overwatch, and it's fun to see. So like, there's some things that you shouldn't ever happen. Like sometimes people just run in and just die.
Right.
Or when we have
like the not grouping up thing.
Not grouping up, or when we get the first advantage on. So maybe more specific in-depth things like spawn timers. So like I don't know it down to the second, but I know that on if you're on a level like Hanamura where there's 2 points, the first capture point,
or Route 66 where it's super far away. So you're talking about,
or Route 66 where if the offense gets a kill, they have a huge advantage because it takes forever for the defense to spawn up
to get back there.
Right. But on the second point on Hanamura, it's reversed. If the defense gets an early pick, like they spawn right there. So it's fun, but there's some things that I'm trying to slowly get people to understand by like saying. So I remember on Hanamura we got a kill or two. I'm like, okay, we have the advantage. Let's push it. And then I said, if we push it, we're gonna get it no matter what. And we were up like 2, and then we went in there and got like 2 more kills. Maybe we lost 1 or 2 people, but we're still up 1 or 2 players. And then we got it. It took them forever to get back over there.
Sure.
I'm like, it works.
Yep.
It's fun.
It's good stuff.
I'm having fun playing with more people.
I like having almost a full team. I wish we had a 6th.
It really makes me upset. I'm kind of just more laid back now recently when we're playing because I know people are still learning. I'm like, I'm not going to get upset because they're not trying hard.
Sure.
Why? Not necessarily why should I try hard, but why should I care so much? I don't really care because if they're trying new things, obviously try things, figure out the game for yourself.
Have fun, yeah.
But it makes me so upset when we have a team of 5 and we're coordinating and we're talking and we get beat by like just 6 random people. I'm like, come on, like what's going on here?
We shouldn't lose to that. Yeah.
No. But I think that goes to a standard of expectations of who's going to play what specific role, or instead of changing, or now I'm coming at you. Sometimes you and players in general stick to one character and they don't always change when it needs to be changed.
Okay.
Or they'll have an ult and they're like, I don't want to change characters. I have an ult. I want to use my ult first before and then switch characters after.
Sure.
Sometimes it's more important to get a character that's necessary as opposed to using your ult when you need to. At the same time, I don't use an ult. Sometimes I'll hold an ult for the whole map because I'm waiting for the perfect time and I'm like, that's probably not right. So like McCree's ult, he does it's high noon and he holds it for like 6 to 8 seconds.
Right.
That's 6 to 8 seconds where people aren't going to charge at you from whatever line of sight you have.
Yeah, true.
So even if you don't get kills with some ults, it's still important.
It still affects the game.
Yeah, and then there's like healer ults like Zenyatta or Lucio that need to be used almost reactively to offensive ults from other people. Yep. If you do Zarya's ult with Tracer's ult, can combine those. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Zarya's ult is very complementary to
a lot of things.
Almost every offensive ult.
There's a few times when I got Ana ulted and I was not ready for it. From people we were playing with, like Ana ulted me and they didn't tell me beforehand. I'm like,
you gotta tell me that.
That's like a waste.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. I think some ults are very specific for
situations.
Well, for situations where you need like communication, you need to use communication to use an ult sometimes.
Well, if you have communication, you should be using it. Right.
But even if you're playing with people who you're not on the same headset, like at least I have been working on always trying to communicate and using like the down D-pad and like my ult is charging. This is where I'm at. And almost every time I get it, I ult, like right now instinctively I'm like doing down D-pad, down, so people know.
I do it out of muscle memory that I have it. But you can also press the scoreboard button and you can see there's a little blue check mark under everybody that has it.
Yeah.
There was one time when we were playing, and I don't remember who you were playing as Hanzo, and I was playing as maybe Zarya or something.
And I'm terrible with Hanzo.
And you're like, I have my ult, I'm going to use it. And I'm like, no, wait. And then you already used it, and I'm like, dang it.
Yep. Now, there's some times, though, that we had really good coordination, and, like, 4 of us would use our ult all together and, like, take a point. I think we did that once, and it was awesome. I think it was on Temple of Anubis, if I remember right. Maybe it wasn't. I can't remember exactly.
No, it was the Temple of Anubis. Because I was making the call, because we were getting stuck at it was the second point. We were getting stuck at the arch, and we got the first point so easily. We got stuck at the arch for like 5 minutes, or maybe even longer. I think we had one more push. I'm like, okay.
You think Pharah that time? I
don't think so. And I'm like, okay, red herring. Switch to Reinhardt because you have the most experience. Your brother is Lucio. I'm like, okay, I know that Lucio perceives himself as a healer, but he's mostly a speed booster. There's also some healing misconceptions about all the healing characters. I'm like, okay, we're gonna need to speed boost at this time. I was Mei, I believe. I had my ult. Reinhardt, and then we speed boosted in, and I used my ult on the ground to kind of get him away, and then the Reinhardt charged in, which I told him to do, like charge in, and then instead of walking in with your shield and getting a damage, just charge in and then use your shield once you get there. And we all speed boosted in. I think I died early, so I didn't really see what happened, but we captured the point. We got 1 or 2 kills. We used our ults, and we got the victory.
Yeah,
so like communication.
Yeah, and that's happened to me so many times too, where you have a team, you're playing a team with communication, and they all just like use their ults in complement to each other. And that just raises the utility of them so much.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Overwatch is fun. You guys should play it if you haven't already.
You should play it.
It's good.
One of my...
it's official Game of the Year for 2016 Underpaid Gamer Awards.
In most places.
And everything else.
One of my friends from back home from a long time ago was like, hey, I just got a PS4. What are some games that I should pick up? And I'm like... He's like, well, I'm really into JRPGs, which I knew. I'm like, okay, well, I listed all these RPGs and JRPGs, and then single-player games that weren't RPGs, and I'm like... For multiplayer, Overwatch is king. And I just listed, like, every other category, I listed, like, 5 different games. But Overwatch, or multiplayer, I'm just like, Overwatch.
Yeah.
Because the only competition right now is, like, Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare, which, I mean, come on. Or Battlefield 1, which
is fun.
It's fun, but at the same time, it's like...
It's not as much, like, team-based.
Yeah.
I mean, it's squad-based, but even then, it's just... Your individual squads, everything is just tempered by the amount of people that are on the field. So there's just so much more.
I'm having more fun. I'm having a lot of fun with Overwatch, and I expect to play it tonight. I'm looking at you.
It could happen. It's in right now.
Hey.
I haven't started, and the cost of that is that I haven't started Uncharted 4 yet. I have it loaded. I've plugged it in and downloaded the update, so like it's ready to play.
For Uncharted 4?
Yeah, and I like made space for it and everything. But I haven't had a time where I've been like where no one's been on. Because if people are on, I want to play with them.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time. Final Fantasy 15 withstanding. I just like want to play with people. And I think because I just played a single player game for like 88 hours, I was like, I'm ready to get multiplayer again.
Talk to people.
So I'm waiting for like a Saturday afternoon. Like this afternoon, I ended up like grading and doing work.
Boo!
I know, it sucked.
Kids
so I didn't play Uncharted 4.
You listen, you little snots?
Yeah, some of them listen.
I know, you're a snot. You're a little snot.
It was really funny. I was walking out.
I beat you at Melee, guaranteed.
And this one of my students, actually I haven't had him yet, but he's the brother of one of my students was like, hey, Mr. T, my whole family was listening to your Rogue One review. It was so good. I was like, oh my gosh, you made me feel so happy when I'm walking out of school today.
Yeah,
I was like,
awesome.
Thanks, man. So yeah, him and his sister, like they were like driving somewhere.
Did you ask him how strong Luke Skywalker was?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you should have.
But
when do you come down on the debate between...
Wait, who said that? Who told me that? Someone was like, man... Tony just doesn't know what he's talking about with Star Wars. It was Jordan. He was like, Luke Skywalker's so strong. Why does he say that? And I was like, because he doesn't know Star Wars.
I went back and watched the fight scene from Return of the Jedi and the fight scene from Empire Strikes Back.
Sure.
And...
They're kind of similar in the way that Darth Vader beats Luke and then Luke beats Darth Vader.
Yeah, that's true.
Kind of like the brutal...
Yeah, I'm not sure what to think. Luke, in Return of the Jedi... Darth Vader distracted himself while reading Luke's mind. And then Luke essentially sucker punched him with a lightsaber.
Well, the thing is, he like gave in to the anger a little bit, right?
Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's to me, he gets angry and just starts battering.
Wailing on him,
which is like drawing on the dark side.
It was really weird because I was watching it and I'm like, why is Darth Vader not having an advantage right now? Like, Luke's not doing anything more than what he was earlier.
Right. He's just angry.
And Darth Vader, like, falls down and then gets his arm chopped off. I'm like, how does that even happen? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But You got a question, like, you saw that scene in Rogue One. You know how strong Darth Vader is.
I know.
You think he's going easy on Luke?
I mean,
from what you saw there?
If we go by, like, literally what we see, then yeah. But
definitely,
we have to understand the difference in age, the time of the movies and what's action packed and what's not. Because at the time, like, that was super actiony, like, holy cow. And now we look at, like, Avengers, and it makes all the old Star Wars movies like
Avengers
where's the action at in Star Wars Episode 4? Like, there's no action compared to what we have today. So I think for its time, like, that was like a super brutal scene, like with just the anger and yelling and the hacking away at him. And
Darth Vader was definitely distracted though.
Yeah, I mean, to some extent.
He just found out he had a daughter?
Yeah, he did. Which begs the question, how could he not feel that in the Force if he knew that Luke was his son? If he could figure that out by just feeling him in the Force.
Did he know that? Huh? Or did he have a suspicion? Did somebody tell him? The Emperor?
Well, the way he found out that Leia was his daughter?
No, that Luke was a son.
I think...
It's just a father-son bond.
He just kind of figures it out when they're when they fight, doesn't he?
I don't know. You're the person to know.
I'm trying to think of the exact moment.
Wow.
I mean, it's not in Episode 4 because
Justin doesn't know
in
Star Wars
the script
things.
of Episode 4. Well, we took that quiz yesterday, and I missed some points there. Well. Yeah, well, it's like Episode 4. They didn't know that Episode 5 was going to happen yet, so they didn't even have that in there. That's part of the reason why Obi-Wan is like, Darth Vader killed your father, because that was going to be the story, and then they're like, oh wait, this is really successful, let's do a 5 and 6 and let's make it complex. Oh, looks like we got to backtrack on that comment.
Oh, looks like brother and sister made out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's like classic Star Wars, and now it's canon, so it kind of like
brother sisters macking on each other.
It doesn't make sense that much, but it is what it is.
Somehow we always end up talking about Star Wars.
It's because I'm in the room.
Anyway,
moving forward,
PlayStation 4 sales have hit 54 million units.
That's more than the population of many nations.
That's 1/3 of the highest selling console of all time.
Which is its
PS2.
Which is its ancestor.
It's a little older
ancestor of the PS4.
Older brother? Would you call the PS2 the older brother or the PS4 the older brother?
I'd say the PS3 would be the older brother. Well, I don't know. Is the PS1 the father or the grandfather? And the PS2 is the son. And then
see, if I'm looking at them, I would call the PS4 the oldest. I know it's not technically the oldest, but of the brothers, if they're all brothers, I'll be like, the PS2 is the younger brother. The prodigy. The Gohan.
Dang. That's pretty strong.
Yeah.
But then he's really not that strong.
Yeah, he kind of...
He's only strong for a while, and then it passes.
Well...
If we can use this reference.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's pretty impressive numbers. Do you know how that compares to Xbox One? Because I know towards the end of the
Xbox One doesn't put out the numbers.
They don't?
No. Because they're ashamed.
I just remember, like, there were a few months at the end of last year where we kept hearing Xbox One outsells PS4.
4 months before Black Friday.
Was it?
That's either because people were waiting to get the PS4 Slim, or just the fact that everybody already had a PS4. They're like, well, I'll get an Xbox too.
Yeah.
Xbox One as well.
Yep. I don't know.
That's my thought. That's the only way Xbox can beat it is people already had the PS4.
Every time I play on an Xbox One, which is only because my roommate has one and it's in the living room, I'm just always like... I'm just thinking, what's up with this operating system?
Yeah, I can't handle it.
What is up with this whole console? I don't like it.
I played it on my in-laws and it just...
It just feels wrong.
I can't handle it.
And I'm sure people who play Xbox One who open up a PS4, they're like, what's up with this operating system? This sucks. It's like what you're used to thing, but I just don't like it.
Probably true. That's obviously the minority.
Obviously, because PS4 wins.
By the numbers.
By the numbers. That's not even opinion. That's just fact.
Melee news.
Talk to me.
Good old friend Mango officially has a coach now.
What's up, Mango?
So
what's up, coach?
I only can think of 2 players that have a coach, which is Hungrybox. His coach is Liquid Crunch. Well, Liquid Hungrybox and Liquid Crunch, they're on the same team. And Mango now has C9 Mango has a coach, Tafokins.
Isn't he like an announcer dude who does analysis and rankings?
He is he does, I don't know if he does any commentating.
Oh, okay.
But he is the guy that does all the stats. So, like, he knows... If you pick 2 players, he knows what the set was. He has it all listed out, probably on a Google Doc somewhere, of, like, everybody.
He can use, like, Excel spreadsheets and analyze.
Yeah. He's, like, in charge of Melee and On Me. They're currently doing the top 100 ranked players right now. It's all based on, like... He's, like, doing that, and he's also in charge of, like, gets all the stats. So he's, like, Mango played Hungrybox on this level... and Mango was favored to win on this level on there, and throughout the whole year, their sets are equal. Mango's won 3 times, and Hungrybox has won 3 times, or something. Yeah. That's all.
Sure.
That's not true, but it's probably something. So he knows all the stats. So Mango has an inside.
He does. Also, does this change his ranking because he's got an inside man on the stats?
I doubt it.
Probably not. It probably is just one big algorithm that he plugs in and says, okay, these are all points.
The only problem with Mango is that while he will listen, Tafokent's name is Daniel, but everyone calls him Tafo. He'll listen to Tafo. Well, he might not listen to Tafo about like stats and stuff. Mango's kind of like he's like a bald eagle. He just flies free.
He's a classic American. He's just gonna run out there and do whatever the cuss he wants.
That's right.
You hear that? I think like G Gundam Chibity. This is such a random reference, but that's what I think.
Gundam's like 30 years
McCree.
old.
I know it is.
McCree.
Like I just feel like McCree. Like what does McCree take? Like advice? No. McCree walks out there and he's like, "It's high noon."
Yeah.
He's doing his own thing. All right, those are weird references. Let's move on.
Yeah, I always need to talk about my melee.
Do you want me to take one?
Which one? You have another one?
Yeah, I got two down there.
Oh, I see.
So there's a game that some people have called the good No Man's Sky.
What?
Yeah, Elite Dangerous.
What?
It's a simulation game, sort of. It's like trade, building things. There's combat in it too. It's a spaceship game.
Like a VR simulation?
No. Like the trade and the markets work like trade and markets do in the real world.
Okay.
So Eve does the same sort of thing.
Okay.
But this one, you actually like fly the spaceship, as in like you're in it. And a lot of people like this game. My brother has talked about this game so much. I think he has it. There's been a big mythology thing in the game between players that's only been fed by the developers for a while, and that is that there are aliens in the universe. You've never encountered them in the game.
This game
for the last 3 years.
This game is Elite Dangerous?
This game is Elite Dangerous.
For PC?
For PC. And for a long time, they've like, in the game lore, it's like referenced that there might be aliens, and they're like very cryptic.
Yeah.
And like items, you like find a random item, and it's like, you don't know what it's from. It's like unknown origin, and they've dropped all these little hints over the course of the 3 years that there are aliens. For the first time, someone has come across the aliens.
Uh-oh.
It is blown up in the game. People, I can't remember the guy's name. I have it somewhere. He posted his encounter with them, and essentially what's happened, and this has happened a few times since this first player did, where if you had the certain item in your cargo, he was going through hyperspace essentially and got pulled out of hyperspace, and his ship got like shut down. Like he couldn't shoot, couldn't fly, couldn't do anything.
What?
And all of a sudden, this massive organic ship flies across his bow.
What?
And then jumps to hyperspace, and then his ship like gets turned back on.
What?
And and he's the first one that happened to it. So he posted it. He was like freaking out. And then since then, I think there were like 3 other people who had experienced the same thing. So it's tied to this like unknown artifact that all these players had in their hole from like a loot drop somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like such a cool reveal, and it's like something that they've been building up for a while, and it paid off for players. So while I don't play it, I do appreciate that this is something that's really cool for that community. And thought we'd talk about it a little bit. So that's it.
I love developers that do things like that.
It's just fun because like they drop the little hints. Like Blizzard does this with Overwatch with characters, right? Like they drop like there's like little things in the maps and things, like the Sombra reveal. Like some people like predicted Sombra because of like small little details in the different maps, like the newspaper articles in Route 66 and like little different videos, like they analyze it. And man, I watched a whole video about Sombra before it dropped. There was like in like the fuzziness in like a cut scene somewhere. There was like a
people go through frame by frame
and just like analyze it. And I love that. And then they release it, and then it was real.
Although to be fair, Sombra took like 3 months too long to be released.
Yeah,
they announced it way too early.
They did.
Also, I'm waiting for a new character for Overwatch. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Doomfist. What they're talking about?
I know.
They want Terry Crews to voice it.
I know. I just saw that too.
I don't know how I'd feel about that. I don't know. I mean, Terry Crews would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think it would be really fun if Doomfist, and I know there's pictures of Doomfist on, there's a level, and I can't think of the level. It's the, like, African level. When it's the museum, you're bringing something to the museum. Numbani. I think it's Numbani. That sounds right. There's Numbani. There's 2 pictures in the defense's second spawn. Mm-hmm. Yeah, second spawn. 2 huge posters. Because essentially you're bringing the Doom Fist to the museum. Mm-hmm. The actual fist, like the armor, the weapon. Mm-hmm. And there's pictures, there's banners in the where you're putting the fist.
Right.
Of 3 different characters of Doom Fist. Now I want those characters to be all mythological. And I want Doom Fist to actually be like some small guy.
That'd be funny.
Not like... Yeah, so some people think it's the kid from one of the shorts that they have. Like a kid with a broken arm. You can get a spray of him, too. I don't want him to be that. I don't know. Maybe the Doom Fist will be something like a Power Rangers thing. Like you put it on, or an Iron Man thing. You put it on, then you become like an armored type thing.
Yeah.
But
that'd be sick.
I think Doom Fist will be next, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Spider-Man?
Sure.
Spider-Man 4? Spider-Man PS4 news?
Yeah.
Little leaked information here.
Tony's a crack reporter.
And I didn't link what I wanted to do. But there's some Spider-Man PS4 story details leaked on IMDb.
Sure.
International Movie Database.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, they're saying that Peter Parker is fighting the Green Goblin. The Green Goblin's trying to destroy him and his family. Family being the operative word. They said that on this little story clip that Peter Parker is married and has a daughter. And Peter Parker's trying to balance the superhero life and the family life, again, as you'd expect.
Yep.
Normal Spider-Man stuff.
Yep.
Balancing life.
Classic Spider-Man.
This doesn't confirm the appearance of Green Goblin. We saw him in the first trailer, as I made a breakdown video.
He did.
You can see that.
You can check it out.
YouTube.
It's got a bunch of views.
It does. The only other thing that it mentions in here that hasn't been necessarily confirmed is that he's married and has a daughter. Now, people are saying that Insomniac then went on Twitter and confirmed that was fake. And I looked at the tweet, and essentially Insomniac said, I'm going to try to paraphrase it in my mind as closely as I can because I don't have it pulled up.
That's right.
Essentially, they said, IMDb is like Wikipedia. Anybody can go on and edit it. You'll hear the first story news from us. So, what that means to me is that they did not decline that information is true. They only tried to discredit IMDb, which is not a declination of it being accurate.
True.
Right?
So they didn't deny it?
No, they tried to discredit the source. And people are like, oh, well, they denied it. I'm like, well, not technically. No. They said the first news will be coming from them. And then they say, no, that's not true.
So it could be possible.
Yeah.
So they didn't actually shut the door on it.
Yeah, they didn't shut the door on it. And I think it's more possible than some people give it credit. So I made a second video as I have promised. I'm keeping my word, and I'm bringing people the freshest news, Spider-Man PS4.
Loving it.
And I made a video, and the first comment and only comment was like, nah, Insomniac denied this on Twitter. And I responded to the guy. But I finally pulled up the tweet, and I'm like, they didn't technically deny it. They just tried to discredit the source. And that's not denying anything.
That's not. You should reply to the guy and be like, now if you read it, it's actually not. Actually, but he's probably listening right now, so there you go.
I thought that was interesting. He's hopefully listening. So if Peter Parker is older, I guess I'll go over some of the stuff I talked about in the video. If Peter Parker is older, as we saw in the very first trailer they released at E3, Norman Osborn, who was a Green Goblin, is running for mayor. There's a billboard that says re-elect Norman Osborn. Yeah. So he's already mayor, or has been once.
I remember that in the video.
So he's very popular with the New Yorkians.
Yeah.
New Yorkers.
He has political power.
That's right.
He's ascending.
So he would be a good villain. Taking down the mayor would be a good villain for Spider-Man. But also, if Peter Parker is older, Harry Osborn, Norman Osborn's son, Peter Parker's best friend, would also be older. True. He could be the Green Goblin.
He could.
Which would be interesting.
It would be.
We already know there's another villain called Mr. Negative in this. Yeah, Mr. Negative in this game. He's kind of a split personality type character. So we know at least one is confirmed. 2 villains are confirmed. Green Goblin, because we saw Norman Osborn, and Mr. Negative. But what's interesting, and for whatever reason I didn't talk about it in the video, was that he's older and has a daughter. And who will he marry? Gwen Stacy or Mary Jane?
That's a big question.
It'll be interesting. It's also a very different from the movie, the movie that's coming out, Homecoming.
Sure.
That
you can contrast it a lot of ways. I think.
But just the fact that he's older. Yeah. And it's not in high school.
And I'm like happy that this is happening at the same time, where we're getting like a young Spider-Man in the movies, and in the game, you get like the older, probably more mature, gone through more crap type character. Because I think it would be Like, generally, I don't like it when movies and video games come out at the same time, when they're the same story, or they're just, like, slightly different. Because it's like you're doing the same thing twice.
Except for Ratchet and Clank.
Except for that, which I didn't see the movie.
But the movie was the game.
It still counts.
Literally the same thing.
I didn't see the movie, so I don't know.
I didn't see it either.
But with this, I think it's fun because you get two different Spider-Man stories that are definitely different, you know, at the same time.
Defiantly different.
So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, so Spider-Man Homecoming is supposed to be coming out this summer, 2017. And even though IMDb said that Spider-Man PS4 is coming out 2017, I cannot believe that for a second. I still think it's coming out first quarter 2018. Because there's no way they're going to release... First of all, Spider-Man PS4 is not ready this quarter at all. So it would have to be in the summer, and they don't want it to release it too close to the movie to get people confused.
True.
And that's not really a game that you would release in the fall against other heavy hitters. I mean, you could, but it's kind of cutting into the market of Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man is huge, right? But it's no Call of Duty, it's no Battlefield.
Right, in terms of the gaming industry, it's not as big.
Kids only have so much money they can spend on video games, so why not put it somewhere where there's not... Give it the Star Wars treatment. Yeah. You know, Star Wars is coming out in December because there's not a lot of other stuff coming out in December. So I think first quarter of 2018 is good. Very hopeful for me. That's when I want it. Some people are saying summer of 2018, which also makes a lot of sense. Kids get out of school. They have a lot of time on their hands. That's Why not give them a video game that they can relate to?
Yeah.
So those are...
I get that. That's
I am hoping for 2018 spring, first quarter. But summer 2018 makes a lot more sense to me. But I'm going to be hopeful. I love Spider-Man.
You do.
I do!
You're a crack reporter on the Spider-Man stuff.
Crack.
There it is.
What crack?
Next up, Instagram. I was perusing through my little bit of Reddit feed the other day, and I saw something that was pretty fresh.
While you're playing Overwatch? You have Reddit on your other
Actually, yeah, it was when I was playing Overwatch.
Me too.
And I was looking through Reddit, and I saw this little post, and I was like, this is interesting. And it was linked to an Instagram page. And if you would click on it, please.
Oh my gosh. Unprofessional.
Dude, come on. There's a script that was posted by Joe... I can't remember.
Carnahan.
There you go. And on the front it says Uncharted. And it's a movie script.
It's the same font as the game Uncharted.
It is. And it's got like some stylization. And it's dated January 7th, 2017. And it looks interesting. It says Studio Sony Pictures, producer...
Atlas Entertainment and A-Rad Productions.
There you go. So, question...
Is this the first you've heard of Uncharted movie?
No, this isn't the first time.
Okay. They've lost like 3 directors to this. And they're also trying to make a Last of Us movie.
Right.
Is your question,
is that gonna happen?
How stupid is this? Because my answer is severely.
Well, that's what I wanted to get to in our conversation about this was, is this a good idea to actually do? Right? Because Nolan North is the voice...
Of Drake.
How can you take the... I mean, he's not going to be the actor for Drake, is he? So,
some people are talking about Mark Wahlberg. Like, get out of here.
Why would you want... I mean, to me...
The only thing similar are their arm sizes. Drake is huge, Mark Wahlberg is huge.
What I would be okay with is making an Uncharted-like movie that wasn't Nathan Drake. Same thing with The Last of Us. I'd be cool with The Last of Us movie.
In the same
universe... different characters.
Not
because we go through these stories and you feel connected to these characters and you change the name, you change the story, you change the actor.
True.
Then all we're going to do is sit there and compare it to the game, and it's not going to make us feel the same because we were playing a game, and that's distinctly different experience than watching a movie.
See, this is the same thing the issue I saw with Ratchet & Clank was that the Ratchet & Clank movie did not have enough gameplay. Which means when you're playing Ratchet & Clank, the scenes are already movie quality. It already looks like a Pixar movie.
Sure.
But that gets broken up with gameplay.
Yeah.
If you sit and just watch a cutscene for an hour and a half, that's like the ending to Metal Gear Solid 4. That's just an hour and a half of cutscene. I fell asleep. I don't know what happened. That's the movie. And you're like, I just want to play the game.
Right.
So how are you going to do a good Uncharted game? We already have 4 great Uncharted stories, not counting Golden Abyss, which I hear is fantastic. 5 great Uncharted stories.
Yeah.
Not counting the DLC that's coming out.
Sure.
5.5 great Uncharted stories.
So why do we need a movie?
Yeah.
Of the same people. And that's why I'm like, if you've done good work and you've created this world, this like universe that your games are set in, I think it's okay for you to make a movie within that world. But using the same characters or telling the same story in a different medium, I think it's just not going to find success because I don't think it's going to connect with the people who are the fans. They're going to go see it and they're like, this wasn't the same experience. I don't feel the same way.
Who's their intended market right now? Like, I don't understand.
So that's just kind of how I feel about it.
I don't know. What am I trying to say?
I don't know.
So this is being produced by Sony Pictures, obviously, because Uncharted is a PS4
exclusive,
PS game
yeah.
from Sony. But Sony Pictures has not had a good record with movies recently. Like, they haven't really knocked anything out of the park. Obviously, they gave up the rights to Spider-Man to Marvel. Well, kind of. But that was kind of like their number one blockbuster for a long time. Mm-hmm. And, like, I don't know, the movie industry is getting absolved by superhero movies and
remakes.
And Disney owns, like, all that.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So I guess if you're comparing Sony to Disney, nobody can win that battle.
No.
But even so, Sony's not doing very well with other things. They're trying to do all these stupid comedies, all this other stuff that doesn't pan out. Like,
sure.
I don't know. They're doing Uncharted and they're doing Last of Us, and I don't think those are necessary. I know they've been working on these for years. So, I mean, he has a script written. It's not like signed off. It's not like 100% ready, right? But nobody... I don't think that many people want a movie like this, and it's like, this photo has 1,200 likes on Instagram from yesterday, which is a lot. Don't get me wrong, and this guy's probably not that popular, and that's probably a lot of likes for this, but
I still think I'm still sitting in that court where.
Are you against it, or are you?
I'm against it if it's conditionally, if it's new characters. With the Uncharted feel.
What kind of story are you looking for? Like an Indiana Jones?
Yeah, like if it's a more gritty version of Indiana Jones or something.
Dark and gritty. Just like your Batman v Superman.
That's right.
In your Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm. And my Rogue One was supposed to look grittier.
Oh yeah, I guess so.
All the characters died.
Whoa!
Spoiler alert!
Whoa!
They already listened to our episodes.
You bet they did.
Yeah, I know they did.
You bet your bottom dollar.
Yeah, I saw all those links. Those little clicks we got. Those things.
Anyway.
So yeah, conditionally I'm...
Us and everybody else, not very excited for this.
Yeah.
I, for one, am normally against things. As you
are most of the time.
Past 64 episodes. I'm not very excited for this.
Yeah, exactly.
However, one thing I am super excited for, and I'm very cautiously excited for, I guess.
Cautiously.
Dragon Quest XI looks incredible. I saw gameplay that came out like months ago, and for whatever reason, I just saw it for the first time. Yeah. It looks incredible, but it's not been confirmed for U.S. release yet, and I'm literally dying on the inside.
Dude, I'm sorry.
Okay, so
the game needs to come out for you.
I know.
They should have sent you an English version.
Ooh.
That's it.
I literally thought about that. I'm like, if I was president of the United States, do you think I would have enough influence to make them give me an English copy of Dragon Quest XI? If they weren't going to.
Dude, you know the internet's going to take a Japanese version and mod it into an English version if it's not released in the U.S. And you can find it online. That's probably going to happen. Also, that's probably piracy, so let's not talk about it.
But, God, it looks so awesome. So, for Dragon Quest, and for anybody that's familiar with it or not familiar with it, think Final Fantasy, right? So,
yeah, different world.
So, you have to tell me about Final Fantasy 15, because I don't know about this. If there's an open world and you're walking, are there enemies on the screen, or do you just...
Enemies on the screen.
Okay, and they run into you, they run away from you, you run to them.
If you run into like their zone where they can see you,
they fight you.
Then it initiates the combat.
And is there a lot of enemies all over, or is it there's like one, there's like 10 feet, another one, another one, another one?
There's enough room that you could run around them if you wanted.
And they're all different sizes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So for Dragon Quest, the one clip I saw was it's an open world and there's all enemies that walk into you like normal. But it's incredibly densely populated. And I assume that's how you fight, is you just walk into those, they walk into you. But everything's so different size. So Dragon Quest always did scale really well, I think. The slimes are obviously very small, but there's also super huge monsters too.
Yeah, King Slime too is big.
Yeah, and I'm watching these and I'm like, this... Okay, so if anyone's played Dragon Quest 8, which I know you have a little bit, there's monsters literally on the world that you can that you fight, and then eventually you can recruit them into your team. But that's what I pictured, or that's what's happening in this game, is that they're on the world, except it's every single monster.
Yeah.
In old games, in RPGs, you would just walk in an open world, and eventually the game would stop, and you go into battle. Very similar to a Pokemon game. You don't see Pokemon on the level. You go into the tall grass, and eventually
all of a sudden,
you hit a counter, and then you get into battle.
Right.
This has actual monsters on the level itself, and I'm like, this is like the perfect Pokemon game. If they made it, like, I've been talking about a 30-dimensional Pokemon game ever since the Switch and VR and all this stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, why can they not just put Pokemon sprites on the world and fight them like that? Like, every other game has been doing that forever.
Right.
The first game I played that was like Final Fantasy 12. Well, they
did that.
Sprites on the level. Like, that was so long ago. That wasn't even the first level to do it. First game to do it. So why can't Pokemon just do that? Is the Switch going to be capable of doing that? You better hope so.
Yeah, it definitely can.
Well, Dragon Quest XI is coming out on the Switch.
Yeah.
So I assume it's going to be similar. Also, weirdly enough, they're releasing... So Dragon Quest XI is going to come out on the Switch, the Nintendo 3DS, and the PS4. All of them have different graphical capabilities.
Right.
And the 3DS has actually two options. One, do it old 16-bit style, do the whole game 16-bit, or do like a 3D style that's a little minimized from what you'd see on the Switch and definitely on the PS4. I assume the PS4 is going to be 4K.
Yeah.
And I assume the Switch is going to be a combination between the two. Right. I assume it'll look fine on the Switch. Gosh dang it, I'm so excited!
Yeah.
I'm going to have to learn Japanese.
If it's not released in the US, then yeah.
Also been thinking about playing Final Fantasy 12 again, or starting it up again.
Sure.
And I looked online, it's like, it's confirmed for a 2017 release in Japan, so it might come out soon.
Yeah.
The remake.
For a remake,
like, I might just be a remake.
I will say, talking about Final Fantasy, I just saw, and this is one of those things that came out a long time ago, but I saw the Final Fantasy 7 remake battle system. It like looks the exact same as Final Fantasy 15. Almost the same. Slightly different. More, if I could change it a little bit, it would be kind of like how in Kingdom Hearts you had like the menu on the side that you could use with the D-pad and like change things, what you were doing.
Yeah.
You could do that in the Final Fantasy 7 remake. So, it seems interesting. I liked the combat in 15. I liked the almost like live action. It was cool.
So Uncharted movie sucks, we agree?
I think we agree.
Yes! Finally. Let's talk about Battlefield 1 for a little bit.
Sure.
I promised the listeners in the last episode that I would play Battlefield 1, and boy did I.
He delivered.
I played it for a week, 7 days exactly.
Yep.
Platinum
did.
Anyway.
Yeah, I was like, I let him borrow it. I went home.
Oh, you want it back? It's right here.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want this on my site anymore.
Was it really that bad?
No, I enjoyed it.
I was going to say, I thought you would like it.
But I have no reason to play it anymore. I got a Platinum, and the multiplayer is fun, but... As you will hear in an upcoming video, that in the process of being made, the audio's already been made. I very much like challenges in my multiplayer, something I can work towards.
Sure.
And while there are some of those in the Battlefield series,
it wasn't enough.
It's not enough.
Gotcha.
Not enough. If I can compare it to Call of Duty is always like get 6 kills with a grenade, or not. We'll get 6 kills with grenades, or get so many kills with this, and then. Once you get a certain amount of kills with this, you get a new attachment for your weapon.
Yeah.
You get a new sight for your weapon. Sure. Blah, 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 blah. So every time I get kills, I get rewarded. Every time it levels up, blah, 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 blah. Battlefield 1 is all very standard. All the guns are the same for the most part. You can all buy them.
Very few customizations.
Yes. But the campaign delivered. It was so good. You can play... There's 5 different stories. You can play them all out of order if you want. And I did not even despise going back. Oh. The load screens in this game are... stupid long in either multiplayer or campaign. I literally don't understand
Not as bad as Bloodborne before the patch.
Not as bad as not as bad as Bloodborne. But it's just ridiculous. It sets me on edge because I played the campaign, played it all through hard mode first, which one wasn't really that hard. I only died a couple times. I'm like, what the f? Give me a challenge.
It's not that hard.
I don't understand that.
But it's very good at storytelling, I think.
But I liked it because that just means I got the platinum earlier.
Yeah.
And then I went back and played them all on easy to get all the collectibles and do all the challenges. And every level starts off with like a 5-minute cutscene that's unskippable. This is 2017 I'm playing. I can't skip cutscenes.
That's funny.
You kidding me? This isn't Kingdom Hearts 1.
That's true. That was tough.
This is ridiculous. And it's like, no, you can't skip this because I have to load the level. But just load the level. You're ticking me off. Battlefield 1?
Yep.
However, that playing fine was so much fun.
Also...
Not in multiplayer. I hated that.
You pop in the disc. You play the tutorial. Wasn't the tutorial the best shooter tutorial that you've played?
Man, yeah, it was.
I loved it.
It was super good, but I had already heard reviews of it. Okay, so spoilers for the very first mission in Battlefield 1. The main point is to die in the first mission, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you progress, is you die. And I had already known that before I went in, but if I didn't know it, I would have been so freaking excited. I'm like, God, this is awesome.
Yeah, it was. I mean, for a shooter's tutorial, it made me feel like I experienced World War One. I mean, and that's such like a stupid, simple statement, but that's a lot of S's. But the fact that you went, like, it just jumped from one part of the battlefield to the other, and you're playing all these different characters with names that you see die with the date.
Oh, that's so cool! If you
I was like, oh my heart, like, oh my gosh, this. I was like, is this a real person?
Please still my
oh my gosh, this is what it was like, and so it just really engaged me right off the bat, and I was like, this game is good.
There's some really awesome diversity in this game.
Yeah.
You play as the Italian guy that's in a giant suit of armor.
Oh yeah, that was sick.
That's awesome. That was such a fun level.
That was really cool.
You play as a woman. Ayo,
you do.
Woman World War One. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, she's real stealthy.
Unheard of.
She was awesome.
You play as an American pilot. You play as a British tank driver.
Mm-hmm.
And one more Australian general.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are white, except for the intro level. You play as only black guys. You play as our Harlem Hellfighters, I think. That's only black guys.
Yeah, isn't there...
And the woman...
Yeah.
I mean, is Arabian, maybe? I can't tell. So I guess not white. They double up on her. Right. Anyway.
I mean, most of the combat was in Europe, so...
It was fun.
It was a good time.
Easy platinum. I'm glad to be done with it. I don't know how I feel. I only have 4 platinums now, and one of them is Battlefield 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like I need to...
You need to change it out, get some more.
Yeah. Because it's like... So I got Ratchet and Clank Platinum, which I very much enjoyed.
Yeah.
And I have 2 other Platinums, and I can't remember what they are right now. And then I have Battlefield 1. And I didn't enjoy Battlefield 1 that much, but it was just super easy. It's like, I'll just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, you crushed it. I was like so surprised when you were like, yeah, I'm almost done Platinum, man. I was like, are you kidding me? You've had it less than a week.
Yeah,
You're like, yeah, I only got a couple more. I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Because that whole time, like, you played and Platinumed Battlefield 1 before I did Final Fantasy, and it took me 3 times as long. Because it took me 3 weeks since I got it.
Yeah, but Final Fantasy is
a
much longer game.
It is a longer game, but it's still like an easy platinum for a Final Fantasy game, but so easy platinum.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I looked at Final Fantasy X because I was like, man, I love Final Fantasy games. When I finished it, I was like, I want to play 10 again because I get real emotionally attached to Titus. And I looked at the trophies, and I was like, gosh, these are so hard.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah, there's some like ridiculous ones. Ridiculous trophies in 10. I was like, this is stupid. And then my brother already had it, so I was like,
you're like, nah.
It's like, nah, he did it for me.
That's right. That's what happens when you're blood.
Yep. His trophies count as my trophies.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it. I played the campaign through. Well, I had fun with the multiplayer, but by the time I was done with my trophies, I'm like, I just want to be done.
You kind of finished with it,
for whatever reason, you have for one of the trophies, or there's 4 trophies, get each class to rank 2. And you get a trophy for each class. And the support class took me forever. And I don't know why. Because, like, the scout class went so fast, and I had to get a fraction of the kills I got with the support class. Like, I'm hopping on flanks, I'm killing people with the support class. You must get less points for the support class than you do with the sniper class, with the scout class.
Maybe.
That's the only thing I can reason. Because the scout class I did in, like, 1 day, and the support class took me, like, 4 days.
Wow.
And assault I did in, like...
Were you throwing down ammo packs and stuff?
Yeah. It's the only way to live.
It's the only way to get points for them.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Battlefield 1 multiplayer is the same as all Battlefield games, I would say. I tried to do some airborne vehicle combat. First of all, I don't know how to do any of the ground vehicles. I hate vehicles. 100% hate vehicles. Every single game I've ever played.
I love vehicles. In Battlefield 1.
Can't handle it. Flying a plane, I'm so bad at.
I love it. Especially when one of the blimps would come in, one of the airships.
Oh, I couldn't do that
Then
either.
you get the fighter. Oh my gosh. I usually use the attack plane, and I like freaking love using the attack plane in Battlefield 1. Because you can like switch between bombs and like aerial combat. Yeah. And I would just I would go an entire game unless they had somebody who was like really wanting to kill me. I would go the entire game in the attack plane, and I wouldn't die. Because most of the maps are places that you can like fly behind and hide and then repair yourself in the air. And so unless someone's like really gunning for you, I would just like fly around, dive bomb on people, get those kills, like drop bombs on the flag when somebody's trying to take it. I would love it. Like every time I got a kill, I'd feel so accomplished. I loved it.
So I played Battlefront, and I had much more fun flying in that than I did in Battlefield 1. But the aesthetic was really fun. The era was very fun. I'm excited for games to go back to that era. Freaking Call of Duty.
Did it feel good though? Just like
stupid.
Some simple guns. Some like simple.
I mean, it was fun to have simple guns, but I also want that customization. I want to be able to put on a sight that doesn't block my whole field of view. I want to be able to change this, change that, add a stock, add this and add that. Which I think Call of Duty does the best.
They do. I mean, I think they've consistently been the best at customization for shooters.
For
guns and things.
For guns
for
and
classes,
characters and stuff.
Yeah. But it's also
Call of Duty is my bread and butter. I just haven't been able to get into it the past year.
It's because it went from so Call of Duty 2, no customization.
Yeah.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 3, no customization. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4.
All the customization.
Started customization.
Yeah.
Expand on all the next Call of Duties. Then what we get is we have all this customization. Now supply drops is the next iteration of it, and I hate it. And that's what's pulled us out of Call of Duty.
Oddly enough, there's no customization in Overwatch for weapons, and I still very much enjoy it. But it's not really about the weapons.
See, that's the thing. It's such a different type of shooter, and that's what I try to explain it to my brother, who I bought the game for Christmas, and he's been playing it with us.
Yeah, he has. Been killing it.
It's such a different type of shooter. I mean, I guess it's not that different, but it just feels so much different in the way that you work with your team, and even like the progression of unlocks. Like there are loot boxes in it, which some people are like, loot. You just talked about supply drops. You hate those. Loot boxes I don't play for the loot boxes. That's kind of like fluff for me.
Yeah, but the loot boxes don't give you advantages in game where supply drops do.
That's true.
Also,
they just give you skins.
I have like 87 loot boxes right now. I need to open.
What?
I haven't done it.
That's crazy.
It's awesome.
I open them every time we get them.
I haven't said for whatever reason. Oh, that's why. Because they used to change it, or I don't know what happened, but once you get to level 100, you kind of like a prestige, it kicks you back to level 1. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what happened. I either, got 10 extra supply drops for just doing that, or I just went through the ranks so fast. Either way, I had more supply drops than levels where I was. I'm like, well, I'll just keep holding on to these until I open them. And then, like, maybe the summer games happened, so it was all the summer game boxes instead of the regular boxes. And then after that, I didn't play so much, and then the winter stuff happened, or Halloween happened, and then winter. So I kept opening. I opened those as soon as I got them, but now I have like 87 loot boxes that I need to open.
You should get 100 and do a YouTube video.
Oh, it's already written down. It's already on my list. Well, I don't know how entertaining that's going to be, but
yeah, well,
whatevs.
Somebody out there's probably really bored and like, man, I wonder what it looks like to get 100 loot boxes. I don't have this in the background.
Hey, background.
Yeah, so.
That's all we got for today.
That's all we got.
That's all I have.
We're done. Donezo. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for listening on iTunes and SoundCloud and Stitcher and Google Play Music.
Yep. If you guys want to join the conversation, you can leave us comments on SoundCloud. You can tweet at us, or you can send us an email.
Whoa! I want to tweet at you guys, but I don't know what your Twitter is. Justin.
At UP Gamers Podcast.
What?
At UP Gamers Podcast.
At UP Gamers Podcast.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Okay.
And then email us, send us an electronic letter, underpaidgamerspodcast at
electronic mail. That's what email stands for.
Yes.
Ethernet mail.
Yeah.
Email.
You could...
eucalyptus mail.
If you're like, man, I just really want to engage with your podcast so much.
Directly?
You could go to the website, and when we post it there, you can see all of our notes. I post the notes on there underneath where the SoundCloud link is, so you can click on some of our sources because we put some of those in there. You can check that out. You can leave comments on the website as well. Follow our WordPress. Yeah.
Word.
That's what we got.
Find us on YouTube.
And subscribe.
And the latest and greatest Instagram.
That's true. Instagram. We're fresh. There it is.
Fresh hot. Instagram.
It's some good stuff. So thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.